So in this video, we're going to discuss about homogeneous differential equation. So dito sa homogeneous differential equation, we're going to focus specifically sa first order differential equation. Okay? Sa first order differential equation pa rin tayo. Okay? So I've already introduced to you already kung how would you know if it's homogeneous or not, especially kapag magkahiwalay si dy at saka si dx. Alright? So, just have a recall. Kapag kapag meron kang given na first order differential equation, kunwari, x times dy all over dx plus 2y is equal to 0. So kapag magka-partner si dy all over dx as a fraction, then on the right side ng equation, naka-0 siya, ibig sabihin ng homogeneous. Otherwise, non-homogeneous na yan. Kapag meron tayong differential equation, first order siya, tapos ganito yung tsura niya, sabi natin x minus y, ito, x minus y dx minus y plus x times dy. Okay, ganito yung tsura niya. Tapos, kung titingnan mo yung mga degree nila, so yung degree dito si x, naka first degree ni negative y, first degree. Degree ni y dito ay first degree din, and yung degree ni x dito ay first degree. So if all of the degree of each term are the same, ibig sabihin homogeneous na yun. Otherwise, hindi na siya homogeneous. Okay? So what would be the formula for homogeneous differential equation? So kanina kasi, tawag nito, di ba meron akong recent example na may x minus y times dx, mga ganun. So sa isang parenthesis, meron tayong kasing dalawang variable involved sometimes. Okay? So let me have a general form nito. Okay? So we have a function of m in terms of x and y plus dx plus a function of n in terms of x and y pa rin, okay, times dy is equal to 0. Ano to eh? M of x and y, tapos ganun din, n of x and y. Alright? So, ganyan tayo. So, sabihin natin homogeneous sila. Okay? So, ano kayong gagawin natin dito? Ganito yun eh. If meron tayong si m, and it is actually simpler, or mas madali siyang tignan, kumbaga kumbaga, pag nakita mo si function m dito, hindi siya ganun ka-complicated kay n, then ito yung formula na gagamitin mo. So you will substitute your x as v times y and dx as v dy plus v dx. Okay? So, what if naman kapag si function na n, mas simpler pa siya o mas convenient pa siya naka-simplify kaysa kay m. Kumbaga si m, mas complicated pa siya kaysa kay n. So, if n is simpler, then ito ang gagamitin nyo. Okay, na formula. So, we will have y is equal to vx. And, itong si dy, magiging v dx plus x dv. Okay? Ay, by the way pala, mali pala to. Y pala to guys ha, y. dy to hindi ko dx. Y yan ha. So, v times, hindi, ha? Wait lang, mali ako. Wait lang ha. Mali yata akong pagkalagay. Yan, there we go. Wait lang. Mali pala ako rito. Wait lang ha. v dy times y dv. Sorry guys ha. Sorry. v dy plus y dv. Yan. There we go. Correction lang guys ha. Correction lang ha. v dy plus y dv. Okay? Or para sigurado kayo, di ba kasi si dx, derivative ng x, di ba? So, since x is equal to vy, so gawin nyo tong product rule. Ito yung tsura niya. Okay? So, that's it. So, yeah. Yun lang naman eh. Alright? That's it. Yun lang naman. So, let's have a example. Okay, kuha tayo ng example. Alright? So, let's just say meron tayong ganito. Quantity x minus 1 times dx plus x, hindi, bakit x minus 1? Mali pala ako. Sorry. Ano to eh? Minus y pala to. Sorry. Minus y dx plus quantity y minus x times dy is equal to 0. Ayan. There you go. Okay? So dito, pumili ka, kasi ito obviously, ito CM. Basta kapag meron kang parenthesis, tapos may dx, yung parenthesis na yun ay CM. Pero kapag kapartner niya si dy, on the other hand, siya CM. So ito. Ngayon, pumili ka which one is simpler para sa'yo. Kumbaga like, dito sa loob ng parenthesis, okay, which one is simpler? Or if they are both simpler, kung pares naman silang naka-simplified and, they don't look complicated at all, then which one would you prefer? CM or CN? So for me, para sa akin, since kasi pansin ko, dalawa sila ay, simplified rather, so I'm going to use M na lang, okay? I will use this formula. Ito. Okay? So, anong gagawin kapag pinili ko si M? I will substitute x as dy. Then, I will substitute dx as v dy plus y dv. Okay. So, ito na yung mangyayari. Okay? So, if that's the case, okay, we will have vy minus y kasi na-substitute ko na si x as as vy. So, yung x maging vy, tapos minus y, tapos times dx, which is v dy plus y dv, plus, okay, sa n, meron tayong y, minus si x. Si x ay vy pa rin siya. So, we will have minus vy, okay, tapos times dy. Okay? Ayan. So, what to do? What we're going to do now is we will, we will basically expand them. Okay, expand natin sila. Sa first term, we will expand them by using FOIL method. Okay? Let's multiply the first terms first. Vy times v dy magiging b squared y times dy. Next, i-multiply ko yung mga outer terms. Vy times y dv, magiging ganito na siya. Plus vy squared times dv. Ganyan na siya. Okay? Kaya lang. Yan. That's it. Vy times y. Then next, multiply natin yung mga inner terms. Negative y times v dy magiging negative vy times dy. And last but not the least, multiply the last terms. Negative y times y dv magiging negative y squared times dv. Ayan. So that's it. Now, dito naman sa right side na may dy, we will just distribute dy dito sa parenthesis. So magiging plus y dy minus vy dy is equal to 0. Now, what are we going to do? Let's simplify them. Alright? So, una, I will simplify by combining similar terms. Okay, we have negative vy at negative vy sa dulo. So, we can add them together. So, what happens? We will have, let me copy the other terms muna. Okay. So, ganito na siya. Okay. Tapos minus y squared dv plus y dv. Y dv tuloy. Y dy pala. Then, combine ko tong dalawa, itong naka-underline. We will have negative 2vy times dy is equal to 0. So, anong gagawin natin dito? So, ang gagawin ko muna dito is first, i-combine ko lahat yung naka-dv at naka-dy. Kumbaga, I will group all the terms that has dv and the other group that has dy. Una, let's start with dv. Sino yung may dv? So we have the second term and the third term. So ilagay ko sila sa unahan. So we have vy squared dv minus y squared dv. Ayan na siya. Okay. Ngayon, i-group ko naman yung mga terms na may dy. So magiging, una, yung first term, which is plus b squared y dy. Tapos itong fourth term, which is si y dy. At saka yung huling term, which is negative 2vy dy is equal to 0. So what's the next step? The next step here is I will basically factor out their common factors. Okay? Which is si dv at saka si dy. So dito sa first two terms, i-factor out ko si dv kasi yan yung common factor niya. So I will have quantity vy squared minus y squared times dv. Okay? Then, pwede nyo naman ito gawin eh. Kapag ito, dito sa loob ng parenthesis, sa tingin nyo, meron siyang greatest common factor na pwede mo siyang i-factor out, wala naman akong problema. Okay? So, dito, kung i-factor out nyo itong parenthesis na to, ang i-factor out nyo to si y squared. Kasi yan yung greatest common factor niya, which is si y squared. So, kung i-factor out mo dito si y squared, ano magiging resulta? Ang resulta nito is that we will have we will have y squared, ulit. We will have y squared times quantity v minus 1 times dv. Ayan. Tapos ito, on this last three terms, i-factor out ko lahat sila by dy. So magiging v squared y plus y minus 2vy. Okay, 2vy times dy. Okay? So dito, pwede ko ba kayang i-factor out dito si y? Kasi tingnan nyo to sa parenthesis eh. All the terms ay may y, di ba? So, can we do that? The answer is it's up to you actually, kung gusto mo. So sige nga, let's try to factor out the y here. So kung i-factor out natin yung y dito, since kasi yan yung greatest common factor nila, ang resulta natin is we will have y times quantity b squared plus 1 minus 2v, minus 2v times dy is equal to 0. Okay? Or pwede pa natin itong i-simplify actually. Ito sa loob. Bakit kaya? O kaya, i-arrange ko sila ha. So, di ba meron tayong y squared? Wait lang, bakit? 1 lang to eh. Yan, 1 lang. There you go, that's 1. So, di ba meron tayong y squared times quantity v1 times dv. Tapos dito, meron tayong y. Okay, tapos ilagay ko si negative 2v dito at si 1 sa dulo. So, magiging v squared minus 2v plus 1 times dy. Ito, kung naalala niyo yung lessons niyo sa algebra, itong si v squared minus 2v plus 1, ito ay isang perfect square trinomial. Okay, perfect square trinomial to. So what happens? Okay, kapag siya ay isang perfect square trinomial, ang mangyayari dyan, we will have y times quantity v minus 1 squared dy is equal to 0. Yan yung maging tsura niya. So, the thing is, paano nangyari yun? How does that happen? So, di ba, b squared minus 2v plus 1, di ba? Okay. I want you to factor out this one. Kung i-factor out mo to, ganito maging tsura niya. v minus 1 times v minus 1. And as you can see, parehas silang dalawang binomial. So you can multiply them and combine them together into 1. So kapag minultiply mo sila, okay, ang mangyari dyan, we will have v minus 1 squared. Okay? So why is it called perfect square trinomial? Kasi may dalawa siyang binomial magkapare-parehas. So pag minultiply mo sila, meron kang isang square na binomial. Okay? So therefore, ganun yung magiging itsura niya. Alright? So, enough with this one. What are we going to do? So, ang gagawin natin is pumili ka which one of the letters, to be specific, dv or dy, ang ilalagay mo on the right side. So for me, ilalagay ko si dy, ito, on the right side. So what will happen here is we will have y squared times v minus 1 dv plus, I have plus tuloy, is equal to the square of v minus 1 times dy. Negative pala to guys, sorry. Negative pala to. Okay? Teka lang ha. Teka lang. Ayan. Okay, y pala to. Is equal to negative. Ayan. That's it. So na yun, paano kaya natin itong isolve? Kasi nga, di ba, we need to solve this one. So, ang pwede kong gawin is I will apply separable variable. Why separable variable? Kasi pwede kong i-combine yung v kay dv at saka yung y kay dy. Okay? Teka lang nga, may kulang akong sinulat dito sa kanan. Teka lang nga, may kulang. So, ulitin ko why separable variable? Kasi, pwede kong i-combine yung y kay dy tapos yung v kay dv. Pwede. Okay. Let's start first with dv. Paano ko i-combine yung mga v kay dv? So, una, I can divide both sides by the square of v minus 1. Okay? Combine ko sila. Combine ko sila kay dv. So, what will happen here? I will have y squared. Wait lang. Kasi tama. Y squared times v minus 1 all over the square of v minus 1. Okay, dito on the right side, wala na to. So, ang mangyari dyan, I have negative y times dy. Okay. Now, what are we going to do next? Ngayon, i-simplify natin to. Ito, pag na-simplify natin itong si v minus 1 all over the square of v minus 1, ito, sa taas, magiging 1 lang yan. At itong sa baba, mababawasan ng exponent ng v minus 1 into 1. Okay? So therefore, magiging v squared times 1 all over v minus 1 na lang siya. Okay? Parang ganito lang yun eh. X all over x squared. Okay? Ang mangyari dyan, makakancel tong si x, magiging 1. At itong exponent dito na x sa baba, mababawasan to ng isa. So magiging 1 lang to. Alright? Which is basically one of the laws of exponent na tinatawag natin na, I think second law of exponent ba yun? Kasi ito, ang mangyari kasi dito, di ba x all over x squared. So ito, yung exponent ni x sa taas ay 1. We can simply rewrite this as x raised to 1 minus 2. Okay? So ito magiging x raised to negative 1 or magiging 1 all over x. Which is the same thing dito sa v minus 1 all over v minus 1 squared. Okay? So we can just simply rewrite this as quantity v minus 1 raised to 1 minus 2. So ito magiging v minus 1 raised to negative 1. So this is just the same as 1 all over v minus 1. Ayun. There you go. Ganyan na siya. Alright? So, ito, let's go back to the solution. Saan na ba tayo? Yeah, dito na tayo. So, na yun, how can we have lahat ng y kay dy? Paano naman yun? So, we can just divide both sides by y squared. Or, to put it in a simple way, let's multiply both sides by 1 all over y squared. Okay? both sides multiply natin ng 1 all over y squared. So, ano mangyayari nun? Wait lang, may dv pala to. So, yun, ano mangyayari nun? So, we will have 1 all over v minus 1 times dv is equal to negative 1 all over y times dy. Ayan. So, it's easy. Now, what we can do here is we will integrate them on both sides. O, diba? Kasi magka-partner na yung function ng v kay dv at function ng y kay dy. So if you're going to integrate on the left side, magiging na to, ln of v minus 1. Okay? Then on the right side, kung i-integrate mo to, magiging negative ln of y plus c. Ayan, ayan. Alright? And always, as I said kanina, sa last video ko, kahit saan pwede mong ilagay si plus c. There's no problem at all. Alright? Whether it's left or right, it's up to you. So, ayan na. So, this one, it could be now your final answer. Pero hindi pa tayo tapos. Why? Is it because we need to simplify things? Well, it's not only we're going to simplify this solution, but we're also going to substitute something. Di ba? Si x is equal to v times y, di ba? So we need to bring back the x. Balikan natin si x. So paano yun? So if x is equal to sa taas, if x is equal to v times y, then ang gawin ko rito is mag-divide ako both sides by y. Hence, I will have x all over y is equal to v. At yan ang isa-substitute ko dito sa v. Diyan. So, I will have ln of x all over y minus 1 is equal to negative ln of y plus c. O, diba? Now, we can simplify. Pwede pa tayo mag-simplify. Okay? So, una, itong coefficient ni ln of y sa kanan, which is negative 1, gawin ko siyang exponent kay y dito. So, let me copy the other terms that I didn't mention. So, this would be ln of y raised to negative 1. Then, ang gawin ko, both sides, gawin ko sila lahat naka-e. Okay? Kumbaga, lahat sila naging exponent ng e. So, this would be e raised to ln of x minus 1 is equal to e raised to ln of y raised to negative 1 plus c. Alright? Teka lang. There you go. Now, we can further cancel. Sa left side lang. Pwede tayo mag-cancel. Itong si e tsaka si ln, we can cancel it out. So, we will have x all over y minus 1. Then, on the right side, ipaghiwalay muna natin si ln at tsaka si e. So, magiging e raised to ln of y raised to negative 1 times e raised to c. Then yun, pwede na tayo mag-cancel. Okay? So, we can have e and ln cancel. So, we will have x all over y minus 1 is equal to, bakit ang haba? Ang haba ng space. Sorry. X all over y minus 1 is equal to y raised to negative 1 times e raised to c. Itong si e raised to itong si e raised to c, we can just simply rewrite this as c. There you go. Alright? Then, ano pa? Itong si y raised to negative 1, pwede mo naman siyang gawing 1 all over y. Tapos multiply mo ng c. So, mangyari dyan, magiging c all over y. Ayan. There you go. Then, gawin mo tong as a whole fraction. So, by making it into a whole fraction, yung ginawa ko nung sa last video, yung method ng pag-convert ng mixed fraction into improper fraction, magiging x minus y all over y is equal to c all over y. Then, ang gawin ko is ipag-combine ko itong c all over y sa kaliwa, which I will have x minus y all over y minus c all over y is equal to 0. So what happens here is that magiging ganito yung tsura niya. X minus y minus c all over y. Or plus c na lang instead of minus c. Remember na negative c, which is the same as negative 1 times c. And if you're going to multiply any constant term by c, the answer is still c kasi arbitrary constant siya. Okay? So yun. Tapos i-multiply mo lang tong si c kay 0, magiging, c kay 0. Itong si denominator ng y kay 0, magiging x minus y plus c is equal to 0. So yun yung final sagot mo, di ba? Or you can just transpose c on the other side. So magiging x minus y is equal to c. O di ba? That's it. That's the yun nga, that's the final answer. Okay? So, yeah. Ito na yung most simplified answer ko. So, yun ang gagawin nyo. If and only if the given first order differential equation is a homogeneous. Okay? Kung homogeneous lang siya, ha? Alright? Let's have one more example. So, let's just say meron tayong ganito. We have quantity y squared minus x squared times dx plus x times y minus x squared times dy is equal to 0. So, which do you think is much simpler, si M o si N? So for me, pipiliin ko dito si N. Ito, I'll pick N. Because this one for me, it looks simple para sa akin. So dahil dyan, I will use this formula. So if N is simpler, then y is equal to Vx. Then si dy, maging v dx plus x dv. So now let's substitute. Okay? So since si v is equal to vx squared, that means ito magiging the square of vx. Plus minus x squared times dx plus ito x times y. Again, y is vx, di ba? So x times vx minus x squared. Tapos itong si dy, siya ay v dx plus x dv. There you go. Now let's simplify. So ito, this would be v squared x squared minus x squared times dx plus ito, magiging quantity v times x squared minus x squared. Tama ba ako? V squared v. Okay, tama. Sorry. Just, just making sure. Times quantity v dx plus x dv is equal to 0. Alright. So what to do? Now, ang gawin ko, ka-extra. Yan. Gawin ko is ito, for the first term, i-distribute ko si dx dito sa nakaparenthesis. So magiging v squared times x squared times dx minus x squared dx. Yan. Then sa second term, ang gawin ko is mag-full method ako kasi i-expand ko sila. So multiply the first term, the first terms, magiging ano to, plus b squared times x squared dx. Okay? The next, the outer terms, vx squared times x dx, x dx, x dv. So magiging plus vx cubed, tama ba ako? Tama. Vx cubed times dv. The next, multiply the inner terms, negative x squared times v dx, magiging vx squared times dx. Okay, tama ba ako? Negative, okay. Then last but not the least, multiply the last terms, negative x squared times x dv. So magiging negative x cubed times dv is equal to 0. Now, we're going to simplify this one. let's combine similar terms muna. So let's take a look kung may mga similarities. So ito, si vx squared x squared, v squared x squared dx, which is yung first term. Tapos ito, yung third term, both of them are actually very similar. Because they are actually the same. Okay? Kasi ito, meron tayong b squared x squared dito and ganun din sa unahan. Okay? So, ano pa? Okay, can we still see others? Okay? So, wala na. Ito lang. Okay? Ito lang. Alright? So, that's it. Wait lang Let me rewrite this in proper way. Dapat naka-squared to. Ayan. So, ito, what I can do here is si first term at saka si second term, we can just add them together. So, we will have 2v squared x squared dx. Then, let's copy the other terms. Okay? Pabigyan nyo ako guys. I-copy ko muna itong mga ibang terms. Okay? And ano pa? There you go. So, ngayon, ang gagawin natin is yung ginawa natin kanina. Let's group all the dx at saka si dv. Okay? Kasi sila yung naka-d, di ba? Si dx at saka si dv. Let's group all the terms that has dx and others that has dv. So, yung mga dx, which is ito, 2v squared x squared dx, negative x squared dx, at saka ito, si negative bx squared dx. So, we will have 2v squared x squared dx minus x squared dx minus bx squared dx. Then yung mga natitira, sila yung mga dv. So, let's copy the others, yung mga naka-dv. So, vx cubed dv minus x cubed dv. So, now, we can now, what do you call this one? Simplify. Okay? So, una, let's factor the first three terms by dx. Okay? So, pag na-factor ko to by dx, itong first three terms, we will have 2v squared x squared minus x squared minus bx squared times dx. Alright. Or, pwede pa natin siyang i-simplify actually. Okay? If you're going to observe it, ang ibig kong sabihin na pwede pa natin itong i-simplify itong naka-parenthesis. Ito. We can still do that. Okay? Kasi ito, we have x squared on three terms, which is yun yung greatest common factor nila, which is si x squared. So we can factor out x squared in that parenthesis. So ano maging resulta kapag ganun yung mangyayari? So ang mangyayari dyan, we will have, ang mangyayari dyan, wait, ano ba yan? Teka. Ang mangyayari dyan, we will have x squared times quantity 2v squared. Ano ba yung sulat ko? 2v squared minus 1 minus b times, times dx. Ayan. There you go. Diba? That's it. Then now, let's factor out the last two terms. So, we're going to factor out the last two terms by dv. So, we will have vx cubed. Teka lang. So, we will have vx cubed minus x cubed times dv is equal to 0. Okay? Or, pwede pa natin itong i-simplify pa. We can still simplify this one. Kasi ito sa loob ng, ng parenthesis nito, ng katapat ng dv, they are both divisible by x cubed. At yan yung greatest common factor nila. So, we can simply factor out x cubed in this parenthesis. So, hence, we will have, x cubed times quantity b minus, b minus 1 times dv is equal to 0. O, diba? Now, let's take a look if we can still simplify pa. Okay? Una, tignan natin to. Can we still simplify this one? So, una, let's arrange them in proper order. So magiging 2v squared minus v minus 1. Can we still simplify or factor out this one? Okay, pwede ba to? Let's take a look. Ito, we can actually simplify. In here, we have 2v squared minus v minus 1. Ang gagamitin kong factoring method ay, ano ba tawag nun? Slide and divide. Slide ko tong coefficient ni v squared dito sa negative 1. So meron tayong v squared minus v minus 1 times 2. So negative 1 times 2, magiging negative 2 yan. Now, let's factor out this polynomial expression. So itong si negative 2, tingnan mo yung dalawang factors that will result to having negative 2. So in here, I can have like negative 2 times 1 or negative 1 times 2. Because both of them, if you're going to get the product of the two, the answer is negative 2. However, dapat pag ina-add mo yung factors nila, ang sagot ay yung coefficient ng v. So yung coefficient ng v, this is negative 1. So let's try to add negative 1 at saka si 2. Negative 1 plus 2 is 1. So it's not the same as negative 1. However, if we try to add negative 2 plus 1, which is ito, tong dalawa na to, ang sagot yan ay negative 1, which is it's the same as the coefficient ng v. Okay? So with that being said, ang factors nito ay si negative 2 at si 1. So we will have quantity v minus 2 times v plus 1. Yan na yung magiging factor form niya. But we're not done yet. Why? Because we put or slide 2 kay negative 1. So anong gagawin natin? We will divide the numbers, specifically the constant terms, by 2. Okay? Now, ibaba natin siya dito. Ayan. So, negative 2 minus 2 is what? Negative 1, di ba? So, magiging v minus 1. How about to? 1 divided by 2, 0.5 siya, di ba? Pero, in terms of whole number, 1 half lang siya. Kasi, we cannot just simply divide 1 by 2 in terms of making it into a whole number. But in being decimal, pwede naman. So, paano to kung ganun? Okay, paano to? Kung ganun, itong denominator mo si 2, ilagay mo siya dito. Okay? So, magiging 2v plus 1. At yan yung magiging factor niya. Okay? Factored form nito. Okay? So, let me copy this one muna. For a moment lang. Let me copy this one. Okay? Is equal to 0. So, hence, anong meron dito? We have x squared times quantity v minus 1 times quantity 2v, tayo lang nga. Yan. 2v plus 1 times dx plus x cubed times quantity v minus 1 dv. Okay. Can we still simplify this equation? The answer is yes. Bakit? Tingnan mo yung greatest common factor nilang dalawang terms. Okay? Sa first term, we have x squared v minus 1 at 2v plus 1. Sa second term, meron tayong x cubed v minus 1. Ang greatest common factor nila is that both of them are divisible by x squared times 2v plus 1, which is yan yung greatest common factor nilang dalawa, which is si x squared times quantity 2v plus 1. So hence, we can factor it out. So magiging x squared times quantity 2v plus 1 times quantity v minus 1 times dx. Ay, hindi. Wait lang. Ay, baliktad. Sorry. Mali pala ako ng GCF or greatest common factor. Hindi pala 2v plus 1. Forgive me. It's v minus 1. Alright? Forgive me, guys. It's v minus 1. Okay? Kasi ito, sa first term, meron kayong v minus 1. Tapos sa second term, meron kang v minus 1. Tapos dito sa first term, meron kang x squared. Ito, sa second term, si x cubed, pwede ko namang siyang bawasan into x squared by separating the two exponents ng x. So from x cubed, magiging x squared times x. So yun, meron tayong x squared on both terms. That's why both of them have something in common. Okay? So now let's go back. So we have x squared times quantity, v minus 1, times quantity, 2v, plus 1, times dx, plus x dv. Ganyan na yung magiging tsura niya. So anong gagawin natin? So now, we will divide both sides by x squared times quantity v minus 1. So as a result, magiging ganito na siya. Quantity 2v plus 1 dx plus x dv is equal to 0. Yan na yung simplified na differential equation. O di ba? Mahaba pero worth it if you know how to simplify. Para di na kayo mahihirapan sa pag-integrate. Okay? So speaking of integrate, anong method gagamitin natin dito? We will use separable variable because as you can see, Pwede nating ipag-combine yung function ng v kay dv at function ng x kay dx. So paano? Transpose x dv on the right side. So we have quantity 2v plus 1 times dx is equal to negative x times dv. So para partner ko si negative x kay dx, I'll divide both sides by negative x. So mangyari dyan, we will have negative 2v plus 1 all over x times dx is equal to dv. Then, para ilagay ko tong si function of v or 2v plus 1 to be particular kay dv, I will multiply both sides by 1 all over 2v plus 1. You can include negative 1 if you like to. Okay? But for me, 2v plus 1 na lang. So if I'm going to multiply both sides by 1 all over 2v plus 1, I will have negative 1 all over x times dx is equal to 1 all over 2v plus 1. Ayan. Now, let's integrate both sides. Ang integral ng both sides na to ay ano? Magiging negative ln of x is equal to ln of 2v plus 1 plus c. Alright? So, are we done? The answer is hindi pa. Actually, hindi pa. Bakit? Well, two things. Yes, kailangan natin i-simplify. Okay? Or kayo bahala kung gusto nyo, huwag nyo siyang i-simplify. Pero there's one thing that you need to do. Okay? We have v. And remember that ito, si v is what? V tuloy. Remember that ito ginamit nating formula, di ba? And we substitute y as vx, di ba? Y is equal to vx. So in other words, kailangan natin balikan si y. Okay? So paano? So as I said, we have y is equal to vx. So we can just divide both sides by x. So we will have y all over x is equal to v para mabalikan natin si y. Hence, ano mangyayari dito? So in here, we will have negative ln of x, negative ln of x is equal to ln of 2 times y all over x plus 1 plus c. O, diba? That's it. Now, you can leave this as your final answer if you like to. But for me, I am still satisfied dito. Okay? Ang gagawin ko is, I am going to simplify them even more by making this equation by e actually. Or kumbaga, gawin ko lahat sila by e, in other words. So magiging ito, e raised to negative ln of x. Okay? Since meron akong coefficient dito na negative 1, ilagay ko siya dito as an exponent for x. So magiging ano na to? Positive ln of x raised to negative 1. Then dito, I will have e raised to ln of, wait lang, e raised to 2y all over x plus 1 plus c. Ayan. So dito, let's now simplify yung kaliwa. We can cancel e at saka si ln. So we will have x raised to negative 1. Eto, on the right side, you still need to separate ln at saka si c para makancel natin si ln. So we will have e raised to ln of 2y all over x plus 1 times e raised to c. Ito, we can cancel e at saka si ln. So what will happen here is we will have 2y all over x plus 1. Okay? Times e raised to c. And remember, itong si e raised to c, we can simply rewrite this as c, di ba? So in here, wait lang, let me copy the other terms here. Okay? 2y all over x plus 1. Ito, magiging times c na lang siya. Diba? So, ito, already that was your final answer if you like to. Okay? So, for me, I can still simplify this. Itong si x raised to negative 1, I can simply rewrite this as 1 all over x. Ito, itong naka-parenthesis na to, fraction and a constant term, I can make it into a one whole fraction. So, to go to the point, ito ay magiging quantity 2y plus 1 all over x times c. Okay? So, ang gawin ko dito is that I can actually multiply both sides by x. Bakit? Para makancel natin si x on both sides. Okay? So, by multiplying x on both sides, ang mangyari, we will have 1 is equal to quantity 2y plus 1 times c. Okay? So, you can leave this as your final answer. Or, you can simply divide both sides by c, in which ang sagot nito magiging 1 all over c is equal to 2y plus 1. But remember, anything divided by an arbitrary constant or vice versa, the answer is still arbitrary constant pa rin siya. Because again, the arbitrary constant is quite ambiguous. So, 1 all over c is just the same as c. So, we can have c is equal to, wait lang, c is equal to 2y plus 1. Ayan na siya. So, that would be your final answer. Diba? From very complicated na solution into a very, very simple na sagot. Okay? So, as you can see, it is quite amusing and entertaining sometimes talaga, no? Kapag meron tayong ganitong scenario or case. Pero yeah, that's how you use basically a homogeneous differential equation method para sa homogeneous first order differential equation. Okay? Magkaiba siya sa sa second order differential equation. Okay? At wala pa tayo. So that is all guys. Yun ang naman ang mabigay ko sa inyo about the solutions for homogeneous differential equation for first order differential equation. Yun lang naman guys. So that is all. See you. Ano ba yan? Teka lang. Hindi ko mapatay yung yung recording. Teka lang. Wait. Yan.